I'm working on cleaning up these spark plug cover ornaments, whatever you want to call them. I got new seals coming for them, so I don't think these will be very hard to clean because they're plastic. The bottom side isn't too bad. I'm just gonna get in here and start scrubbing them. All right, guys, we got those ornaments super clean. Those spark plug covers, whatever you want to call them. They came out looking great. And I also went ahead and scrubbed both of these down as well. And I think they came out looking pretty nice. So now that all that's clean, I'm gonna go ahead and scrub the intake down because I'm still waiting on some parts to arrive. So I'm just gonna start just kind of cleaning everything I can while I wait for those other parts to get here. Cleaning this intake up is super tedious, and there's lots of nooks and crannies and little tight areas, and yeah, it's fun. Got it cleaned up. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Got those intake ports cleaned up real nice. Now I just need to get the gasket surfaces ready and I can mount this thing up. Got that intake clean. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on and wait for them to dry, and then put these front covers on, and then put the sprockets on, put the thermostat housing on, put the water pump on. So now that I've got these on, I'm gonna go ahead and put the water pump on, and then after that I'm gonna put the thermostat and this bottom coolant piping on, and then I'm gonna put this top one on. Now that I've got that water pump on, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the thermostat as well as the piping around that, and then I'm gonna throw in the piping above that as well. After that, I'm gonna do the intake, and then I will be about ready to do the timing job. I'll need to throw the covers on here and get all that ready, but this thing is really close to having the timing job done. So I've got my pipes on now, I've got my hoses on, hose clamps, everything's torqued down, everything's sealed up. Gonna go ahead and keep moving along, put this intake on now. Got my new gaskets here. Got my intake all cleaned up, looking really nice. Got the injector holes all cleaned out, looking good as well. And all of the intake ports are cleaned up. This thing's looking pretty good. Got that intake on, and I went ahead and put some little rags in there to keep everything clean. I'm waiting for some spark plugs to come in the mail, and then I'm going to put the spark plugs in and then clean these holes out a little bit that the seals go in. Then I've got new spark plug tube seals for the covers over there, as well as new gaskets for the edges. Once these spark plugs are in and the seals and everything, I'm going to move on to the injectors, and once I get the injectors all worked out, then I'm going to go ahead and put that top part of the intake on and just keep chugging. While I am waiting for these spark plugs to come in the mail, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this fuel rail by removing all the old injectors because I have new injectors for it. Alright guys, so I actually made another mistake on this engine. What do you know? Just proves that no matter how much research you do, there's always more you could be doing. I got the thermostat on, got the pipes on, got all that stuff on, the hoses and stuff, and I posted some pictures and everyone was like, these timing covers, not the back ones, but the front ones are impossible to get on with these pipes. So I had to remove those, scrape off all the RTV, do a little more sanding with the Scotch-Brite. After all that was done, I put these back plates on and then put all my sprockets on. All I really have left to do is change these studs right here, and then I can put the idler pulleys on, and then I can start looking at getting the timing job done. And then once I have the timing job done, I can get the timing covers on. And once I get the timing covers on, I can redo those pipes right there. And then pretty much the whole front of this engine will be all closed up, and I can move on to putting the fuel rails on, putting the upper intake on. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see that stud is spinning right out now. So I'm gonna finish pulling this one out and then move on to the next one. All right guys, got stud out. I'm gonna go ahead and clean out this little hole right here, and then I'm gonna put some Loctite on the new stud and install it. So, forgot to film some obviously, but I did get those new idler studs in right there and right there. Now I've got the belts all on, and I still have to tighten a couple things, still have to set the tension right, but right now it's everything's looking pretty good. All the marks are lining up, everything is happy, so that's pretty cool. So I rotated the engine over a couple times. I had to readjust the tensioner a few times to get it right, so don't freak out if you can't get it at first. I got it sitting at 4 millimeters right there, as you can see. Now I got all that timing done, I'm gonna try to hit these nuts right here, or these bolts I should say, with a torque wrench, so that way I can put the caps on with the springs and all that, all the new seal, new O-ring or whatever. Got those caps on with some new springs underneath, new O-rings, and I just torqued them down to good and tight because I don't think I have a torque wrench that goes as low as the torque spec is on these, so I just got them good and tight, and I'm gonna keep on going now. Still waiting for my injector seals to come in. They're like 3 days late in the mail now, so that's kind of lame, but once I have those, I'm gonna go ahead and do my injectors. Here's how it is starting out. It's pretty nasty. Got the rails all cleaned up and installed them into the plenum with the seals underneath them. There's no torque spec listed on any of these, so I just got them all good and tight. Now we are about to drop all the new injectors in here. All right, so I just lubed up the O-rings with Vaseline, which is what it said to use. Yeah. And I cleaned up the area where it's gonna seal up, so now I just gotta drop that in there and push it into place, which I'm gonna do with 2 hands so I can do it carefully, but you just essentially wanna push this down while rotating it, and you don't wanna use any tools. You just wanna push it into place with your hand and then finish tightening it down with the retainer cap. So I'm gonna do that now. So we've got injectors all pushed in. They're looking great. I don't have any of those little insulator caps that are good, so I need to order 6 of those in. While I'm waiting for all the parts to come in, I'm going to clean up this monstrosity of orgy of tubes and piping. Just got my new injector insulators in, just cleaned all my caps off. They're looking real clean now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start dropping those on and screwing them in. They go like that, at least that's how I am gonna put them. The metal side down, the rubber side up, flat side towards the flat part. Pop them right on, bada boom. Do it 6 times, you're done. Then I got my new crank pulley in from a member in the 300ZX group. Shout out to that guy. Really appreciated that. Once I get those done, timing cover will go back on, but I still have to restore some of these bolts, and then I'm going to use some of this 5/16 heater hose to replace these rubber bushings because they want like $4 a piece from Nissan, and that's just an absurd amount of money for some rubber bushings, so I'm not doing that. All right, I kind of took a break from everything and cleaned up because I'm sure you've heard me say it 1,000 times, I really hate working in a dirty shop. Something to note, I left the bolt in the tensioner from like when you set the tension. I forgot to take that out, so I took that out. Don't leave that in there, that'd be bad. Got all my caps in with new insulators, some Fritos. I found some Z1 silicone coolant bypass hoses in a parts car that I bought. So I'm gonna be putting those on there instead of these OEM ones that I got. Right now, what I'm working on is these timing cover bolts. I went through both my parts cars and found enough to make a full set. So I'm just gonna clean all these up with a wire wheel. I'm gonna be using these red washers right here to kind of make my own bushings. I'm gonna use a red washer and this heater hose that fits perfectly on the shank of the bolt, so I can cut those down to size. All right, guys, so I've got them all ready to go, and I think this is a pretty decent solution. It's not the most perfectly flat cut, but for the most part, I got them pretty straight. I'm missing the bolt that goes right here. I ordered that one. It's shorter than all the rest of them. I'm missing this tab on my lower timing cover. It is broken off. You can see right there where it used to be. All right, lower timing cover is on. Feel like these bolts don't look half bad. There is the missing bolt that has no tab, so I cannot put it on. And there is the one that is extra short, so I have to wait until it comes in the mail. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end this episode right here so I can try to not keep them super long. I'm still really trying to work on the whole YouTube video thing on cars. It's so hard to record and do the job right. It just adds so much more work and editing and everything, but I am trying to do it because there's not a ton of stuff out there on the 300, and I would love for that to be more accessible for people, so hopefully we can see some more of these on the road. And thanks for watching. Thanks for checking everything out. I really appreciate all the positive comments and feedback I've gotten. See you guys next time.